Hello, hope you're having a good day. Today we're going to talk about a subject that y'all wanted to talk about, and that is fat loss. So, today I'm going to share with you 3 tips for fat loss or weight loss, however you want to term it. And a key there to remember is that if the scale goes down, right? So, if you see a decline in the number on the scale, that doesn't you know, determine that you're only losing fat, right? You could be losing water weight, you could be losing muscle mass. And so when you fixate your goal on only seeing the scale move, keep that in mind. If you're going to gauge your success only off of what the scale says, then you're going to set yourself up for failure. It's a trap! Because that's not the only way to gauge success. If all your clothes fit better or they were too loose, but the scale didn't change, would you care what the scale said? Probably not. So when we're really honest with ourselves when we talk about fat loss, we want our clothes to fit better. We want to see changes in our body. So I'm going to give you 3 tips on fat loss. And if you have any questions, you'd like to hear more about a certain aspect, please comment below.
That's it.
My number 1 tip when you have a fat loss goal and when you're working towards fat loss, and I don't see anyone talk about this, but you need to think about the future. Why am I saying that? Because you can hit a fat loss goal without thinking about your future, meaning you could decline your health while you achieve a fat loss goal. What is the point in that? The reality is the number on the scale does not dictate your health. What if the number on the scale came down, but you had high blood pressure? You had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. You developed diabetes. You were increasing inflammation. Those things matter more than a number on the scale. However, it is possible to have them both, right? So, whatever your approach is to losing fat, you need to think about your future. And another aspect to that is when you think about your grandparents, do you think about them how they used to be very frail as they aged? Absolutely. Most people, as they age, become more frail. People who lose a lot of weight as they age become more frail. How is that? Because they're actually also losing muscle. As we age, we lose muscle mass. And so keep your future thought process in mind. My goal for y'all is to be healthy, hit your goals, and age well. And I would put alongside of that, you need to be strong. And sometimes being too thin is really just not strength, and it increases your frailty as you age. So keep your future in mind. That's my number 1 thing when you think about weight loss for the future. Then the second tip for fat loss that no one talks about, a calorie deficit, right? Let's say that you have, this is how many calories you need to maintain right here to this is the number of calories you need to consume daily to maintain your body weight, okay? And so let's say that's like 2,000 calories. And so you go into a calorie deficit, you eat less calories, right? In order to lose body fat. This process should be as short-lived as possible. Anytime that you diet, you need to get out of that diet as quickly as possible. And there's this mentality around losing fat or mentality around dieting that people have been doing a diet their entire lives. That is very, very unhealthy. Why? Because a calorie deficit is a source of stress on your body. And the longer you live at a calorie deficit, the more your body adapts to that deficit and things in your body slow down. For example, if you are in a calorie deficit, let's say someone needs 2,000 calories a day to maintain their body weight, so they start eating 1,500 calories in order to lose body fat. Um, and then they just never stop eating 1,500 calories. Here's the problem: your thyroid, your movement, your brain will all adapt to that amount of calories. And what do I mean by adapt? They'll all slow down. They'll think, well, dang, she's only going to feed me 1,500 calories. We better not produce as much thyroid hormone. We better conserve our energy and not have enough energy to go walk, go run around, build muscle, do all these other things. And while we're at it, cortisol is going to be out of whack. So sleep isn't great. All these things affect your well being. So look at a diet, look at a calorie deficit as something that needs to be as short lived as possible. This is why a lot of my clients, we end up working and changing their bodies at what I imagine is their maintenance calorie range. A lot of really cool things happen when you actually feed your body enough food consistently. Boosts metabolism, improves thyroid health, improves your sex hormones, improves digestion, reverses disease, improves sleep, gives you energy to work out. So diets suck because they're really challenging. And so you should view dieting as a very short lived thing. The other aspect of that is they're very taxing on the brain, right? So, all that to say, tip number 2, diets should be as short lived as possible. Okay, and then the third tip for fat loss is movement. So, your approach to fat loss should take into consideration movement. And if it's not, you're really missing a key piece to that puzzle. I was just talking about maintenance calories and how cool maintenance calories can be for people. And one of the cool things about maintenance calories is people end up having enough energy to incorporate movement that actually helps them lose fat. So if you're only eating 1,200 calories a day, which I would never recommend for anyone, you're not going to have much energy to go for a walk around the block, to avoid a sedentary lifestyle, let alone to build muscle, to improve your resilience, and also to improve your metabolism. So if you're trying to lose fat, I would recommend focusing on daily movement first, and then focus on movement that you love and focus on building muscle. Because the more muscle you have, the higher basal metabolic rate, the higher the amount of calories you burn at rest. And I would consider even doing that before, depending on the person, before you go into a really strong calorie deficit. So those are 3 tips for you for fat loss. If you have any questions, please comment below. And I hope that was very helpful. Have a good day.